Hello dear friends, welcome back to MACSGATE. So we are talking about Python programming, and in Python programming we are discussing about data types and variables. So in today's session we mainly talk about list and tuples. But before that, let me quickly take a few problems from strings. Okay. So the question is, what is the output of the following code? So here string 1 is Python program. So what is the letter or the character at 7th index? Please note the index starts from 0. So here what happens? We are going to start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. 7th index you can expect the character which is P. So what is the character at 7th index, which is P? See, actually the index which we take can also be an expression, but that expression should result in an integer value. So here 7 minus 6 is 1, 1 plus 3 is 4. So you get the value or character at 4th index. So starting at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think O it is, right? Please note that. Small o. Then what about this? See, please note in Python there is no prefix or postfix operators. So it is minus of minus 2. So what happens to this? It is minus of minus. Minus of minus is plus 2. So you are going to get the value at the 2nd index. 0, 1, 2 means you are expecting the output T here. Okay. See, if you are watching later, 1 second, I think it is started already. Yeah. So if you are watching later, please pause and verify your output, my dear friends. So what is the output here? P, O and T. Clear? The next one, string 2, hello Babu. Now what is the length function will do? It will give you the length of the string. So what is the length of the string? 5 characters, 6 character is space character plus 4, 10. Length of the string is 10. So this should give you 10. See, actually if you don't print, you are only going to, we are going to assign 10 to n. That's it. Now I want to print the value at the 10th index. Please note you are starting at 0 index. So 10th index means out of the bound. So here you are going to get an error. So this will give you an error message because you are going out of the bound. Index bound error you are going to get. Am I clear? But what about this string 2 minus n? Okay. So here there will not be any problem because this is an error. You can just check. Okay. Index error you are going to get because you are going beyond the bound. So you are going to get the index error. It's better to remember the names of the errors, sir. It's good for health. Sometimes they can ask you what type of error you are going to get. Am I clear? So what we need to do is we can only go maximum up to n minus 1. Okay. So if I take n minus 1, there will not be any problem. So it will print the last character. What is the last character here? U will be printed. Now what about this minus n? Because we are also having negative indexing. Minus n means the first character. Okay. Length. Whatever length you are going to get, minus of the length is because you are allowed to take the negative indexing. Minus n means what is it? It is the first character. So here what you are going to get, my dear friends, here you are going to get the first character. Okay, now let us run this and verify the output. You can see U and what is the first character? It is H, not P. What is the first character here? First character is H, not P. Okay, be careful. So that is the idea, my dear friends. So you can use this length to manipulate this index values. Clear? Now string is mutable or immutable. String is immutable. So you are going to get an error here. You are going to get an error. Why? Because you cannot change the content of a string. You cannot change the content of a string. You can check this. So here you get type error. What type of error you are going to get? Type error you are going to get, because string is an immutable type and you want to act or change the element of the string, which is not allowed. String object does not support item assignment. You cannot do this. Okay, please note this. Okay, so that is the error here. You cannot do this with strings. Next one, what is the output of the following code? So here string 1 is Python program. Please note the indices. Am I clear? So it is better to note the indices, my dear friends. So start with 0, P is 0, and 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. The indices are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 6 are there. 0, 1. Okay, let me just count it. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is the space. Then we have 7th index. See, if you can directly do it, no need of writing, sir. Only for clarity purpose, I am showing the indices, because this entire game is with indices. Whether it is slicing or indexing, we are just playing with the indices. Okay, so indexing, slicing, and extended slicing are very important operations. Please note that. 7, 8, 9, 10 is G, 11 is R, 12 is A, 13 is M. So the length of the string is 14. So 0 to 13 you are going to get, and you also have the negative indexing. So it is minus 14. The first fellow is minus 14. So P can be also accessed with minus 14. Then it goes minus 13, minus 12, and it goes all the way up to minus 1. Please note that. Now when you print string that is from index 3 to 9, please note the starting index is considered but end minus 1. So if it is from start to end index, what characters will be considered? From start to end minus 1, all the characters. That is the substring from start to end minus 1, whatever substring is there. So that will be retrieved by this, slicing function, okay, or slicing operator. So 3 means what, sir? 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 means H. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up to here. That is HON PR will be printed. HON space PR will be printed. It's all about a game with the indices, nothing more than that, my dear friends. Just try to understand the indices, properly note it. Suppose if you misread the number, that index number, you obviously get the wrong output. So please be careful. If possible, write it on the paper like this. Okay, write it on the paper like 0, 1, maybe different color we can use. Where is this color gone? Yeah, you can take this like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Here it is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7, minus 8, minus 9, minus 10, minus 11, minus 12, minus 13, and minus 14. Only for reading purpose, nothing more than that. See, if you can observe it properly, no problem, sir. So the next one, minus 8 to minus 2. Even this is allowed, sir. Minus 8 to minus 2 means what, sir? It is space actually. Space. Then minus 2 means minus 2 plus 1. It is actually 1 less than that. Minus 2 minus 1. Up to minus 3 you are going to print everything. That is PROGR. This will be printed. The next one, 6 to minus 3. 6 index is space 2 minus 3. Minus 3 means 1 less than that. So space, what is printed here? Space PROG. Minus 3 means 1 less than that. Up to here it is printed. So please note this, my dear friends. Then minus 9 to minus 8. Minus 9 is where, sir? Where is minus 9? This is N. Minus 9 means N character. Then minus 9 to 8 means what? 8 is here, 1 less than that. So N space P is the output for this. N space capital P is the output. Now when you ignore the first and last index, the entire string will be printed. This entire string will be printed if you ignore the first and last index, the entire string will be printed. So that is an expected output. So please play with this. Okay, play with this indices as well as this slicing operator. That is one of the very important operator for any examination purpose. So you can see on PR, PROGR, PROG, N space P, Python program. And you can also try this differently, my dear friends, like you can only give the first index and ignore the second index, automatically the entire end of the string is considered, end plus 1 actually. So the remaining part of the string will be printed. Okay, so that also, if you want, you can just try that, sir. Suppose if you want to print only with first index, but you skip the last index, what will be the output? Starting from the third index, 0, 1, 2, third index, this entire part will be printed. This entire part will be printed. Okay, you can also skip the end one, sir. I mean, you can skip the first one, starting index you can skip, automatically it starts from the beginning till 1 less than that. Always remember 1 less than that. So that is the output, my dear friends. Now you can also have this extended slicing operator where the string will be, the substring will be printed, only the particular characters which are at the steps of 3 will be considered starting from 0. So here what actually happens, 0, 1, 2 will be skipped, then the third index, 3, 4, 5 are skipped, then 6th index, like that. So every third character will be printed, my dear friend. Every third character will be printed, and up to what, sir? Up to what it is printed? Up to 10 minus 1, up to 9, every third character is printed. So what is the output here, my dear friends? P is printed, YT is ignored. Okay, 1, 2, third, every third character is printed. T is printed, then it is T printed, then TH, every third character. See, 2 characters are skipped in between. Okay, sorry, it is H will be printed. Okay, 1, 2 character, YT will be skipped, then H will be 3 characters, then next H means 3 character, that is next space will be printed, then next space will be printed, then you have a space PR, then O will be printed, O will be printed, then we have A will be printed. Okay, you can just verify this, my dear friends. Am I clear? And what about this? -6 to 1 in steps of 2. Every character in between is skipped. Every character in between is skipped. So you are starting it -6. -6 means what, sir? It is -14, -13, -12, -11, -10, -9, -8, -7, -6. This is -6 to -1. That is till the end but 1. Till the end but 1 it is printed. Oh, one mistake which I done. Here you are going only up to 10 only. So I think you will not get, because I went till the end. So P is printed, then H is printed, then space is printed. Up to here it is 6 characters. Then O is printed. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, up to O is printed. A will not be printed, my dear friends. Please note, because it is up to 10 means up to 10 minus 1 indices only you have to consider. Please be careful. Here up to this one we have to consider, starting at -6. So it is -14, -13, -12, -11, -10, -9, -8, -7, -6. So starting from R, here it starts at R. Okay, then every in between character is skipped, then G is printed. Okay, then R, and then A is printed. And what about -1 to -6? So you can always go from left to right. -1 to -6, nothing will be printed here, sir. -1 to -6, nothing will be printed. So you get empty string. So let us see the output for this. So you can see PHOA and RGA. That is the output for this particular program. See, it's always just working with this, my dear friends. So if you want, I'll just show you what actually happens here. So when you see Python, okay, let me just do it like this with a box, it would be better. So Python space program. Okay, so this is what is given. And when you observe here, it is from 0 to 10 in steps of 3. 0 to 10 in the steps of 3 means 0. Okay, steps of 3 means every 2 characters in between will be skipped. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Starting from here, 3 characters. 1, 2, 3. The next character is printed. So then next this character is printed. Then 3, the next character is printed. Then from here 3, the next character is printed. Okay, then 3, the next character is printed. But we are only going up to 10th index. 10 means 10 minus 1, end minus 1, till end minus 1 you have to take. So this is not printed. So we are going to print only PH space and O. That is the idea, my dear friends. Please note that. So the strip or the step, it's how many steps you are going to take. So starting from here, 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. Starting from here, 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. Starting from here, 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. Starting from here, 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, like that. So this character which is given is actually called the step. This is called step. So starting from that character, you have to take 3 steps. Then that character is printed. From there again you take 3 steps and that character is printed. Like that we need to understand this. Is that clear? So that is about it, and you see the output of the last one is empty. Very good. One second. Yeah. Now what about this? Here I skip the first character and second character. It is like, you know, extended slicing operator only, but here the step is -1. What will be printed? See, if you are watching later, this is very important, very, very important, my dear friends. So I want all of you to pause and guess what is the output here, because it is one of the important concepts. See, starting to end in steps of -1, in steps of -1. So the entire string is taken, but you are going in minus steps. See, minus steps means you are going from end to beginning, sir. You are going from end to beginning. It is actually going to reverse your string. What it is going to do, sir? It is going to reverse your string. It is going to reverse your string. Whatever string is there, that particular string will be reversed. Sorry. There is something. Okay, it is. Be careful. You have to give proper name for that. String 1 it is. Okay. str is not defined. No, that's why that error happened. This is string 1. So same name should be used. If you use different name, how it can recognize? So what happened? You are going to get the string, but in the reverse direction. In the reverse direction. See, whenever it happens, if it is -2, the reverse direction, in steps of 2, the string will be printed. In the steps of 2, the string will be printed. Please note this. And earlier we had an issue with this one. If you see this, there was no output, because you start from -1, you cannot go backward, because the string goes to the right. That is, from left to right the string moves. So here there was a problem. And instead of using this positive step, if you use negative step, this particular this slicing operator will give you the output. Let us see that. You see this, you are starting from -1 to -6. -6 means 1 less than that. That is 1 less than this, means because you are going in the negative direction here. You are going in this direction. Here 1 more than that. Here it is 1 more than that. It's like this. Let me just show you here. Python space program. So here it is -1, then -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. See, whenever you use step size minus, you are going from right to left. You are going from right to left. That is, you start here. -6 means 1 more than that. Here, because we are going right to left, 1 more than that. So up to here, the string will be printed. Up to here the string will be printed, but in the reverse direction. That is, what is printed? MARGO. Margo will be printed. Let us verify this. Let us verify this. So what is the output expected? Margo. You expect that output and you get that particular output. Is that clear? Any doubts? Like that. And of course there are some more string operation. The main important operations which we need to learn here are indexing and slicing operator. Of course, length, obviously, that is very important. Length also you need to know that. Length operator. Am I clear? And one more important operator which we need to know is repeat operator and concatenation operator. String concatenation is very important and repeat operation is very important. So if you do strv, string variable, 4 times, what happens? Don't write 24 into 4, 96. Don't do that. It is not multiplication of that, sir. It is 24 is a string. So string is repeated 4 times. So it is 24, 24 is, that is 24 is printed 4 times. So that will be the output. And if you want one example for string concatenation, so let us take string 1, hello, and let us take string 2, Babu. Then you can do print string 1 plus string 2. So this is possible. This is called string concatenation, my dear friends. But suppose instead of taking Babu here, suppose if you take an integer, this will be an error, because you cannot concatenate a string with a integer. Maybe you can try something like, you can convert into string, because we have the string conversion function, then it can be done. Then there is no problem, because the type conversion function can be used to convert any number to a string. Okay, any collection of characters you can convert into string using type conversion function, that is string. So this is about the review of the strings. So what I want you to understand is mainly this slicing operator, because the same slicing operator you are going to use again for list, tuples, even for range, bytes, byte arrays, for everything you are going to use this slicing operator, my dear friends. Please note that. So for all the sequences we are having this slicing operator. Hope you understand. So that is about your strings review. Now let us start topic of today, that is list. Now what is a list, my dear friends? A list is a mutable. So far we are seeing all the objects which are immutable, which cannot change, their value, which cannot change their state. But list is a mutable one. Okay, so there are so many terms, let us understand. So list is a mutable ordered sequence. Sequence means obviously ordered collection. So ordered sequence of arbitrary objects. See, it is actually collection of heterogeneous, different types of objects. Of course, it is not mandatory that all the objects must be of different types, sir, but it can be of different types. The objects of list can be of different types. You can have integers, floats, strings. Again, you can have list, you can have tuples. So it is a collection of heterogeneous objects. Mutable, ordered collection of heterogeneous objects in which duplicates are also allowed. Even duplicates can be there in a list. Okay, so please note, list is ordered. Okay, ordered means you are ordering them by indices. See, whenever you are using indices means that fellow is an ordered list. Okay, so you can order them by that indices. That is the main idea about the sequences, sir. Sequences are mainly ordered by indices. That indexing operator is used because of that. Heterogeneous elements are allowed. That is, we can have objects of different types. Then it is mutable. We will understand this. Mutability is very important for list. Duplicates are also allowed. Okay. Then comes elements of list are enclosed in square brackets and are separated by commas. So let me just take some list variable. So this is a list variable. The elements are enclosed in square brackets. Okay. So you can have the elements, you can have an integer, you can have a float, of course not in the order, any order, sir. First you can have a float, then you can have integer, then you can also have a string. Okay, then you can also have list. Okay, so that is what we call it as nested list. That we'll discuss little later. Okay, we can have different types of elements. You can also have bool variable. So this is what is your list, my dear friends. Okay, and you can print this. Normally single one. So let us print directly. Oh, sorry. This is a markdown cell. So let me do it in a code cell. So this is your list, my dear friends. You can have different types. Now you may have doubt, only different types. Can I use same types? Yes. See, normally in other programming languages, we generally start with this, aggregates with, arrays. Arrays are, ordered collection of homogeneous elements, elements of same type. Actually, you can use the list as an array, but you have to keep the restriction. That is, you have to keep the elements of same type here. Am I clear? Of course, when we learn data structures like stack, queue, linked list, and so on, for simple implementation, we can use list for implementing all these data structures. Generally, these data structures can be implemented using array. That is, array means what, sir? Sequential collection of elements, okay, or the elements which are stored in contiguous memory locations, but it won't happen here. Okay, please note that. So we can use the list to implement all these data structures, okay, in an array format. That is, array implementation of these basic data structures like stack, queue, list can be done by using list. Am I clear? When we talk about data structures, we'll discuss that. Now look here. Here, as I told you, the list variable, we can have all the elements of same type. Like you can have all the elements of same type. Like you can have homogeneous element. There is no restriction. Am I clear? You can have same type of elements without any trouble, my dear friends. There is no restriction for that. Now, how to create an empty list? See, a list can be empty. A list can be empty. So how to define empty list? Just keep square brackets and don't write anything in it. That is empty list, my dear friends. There is one more way of creating empty list. You can create empty list by using this list function. See, it's like kind of type conversion. Okay, mainly for converting string to list. Okay, generally we use this, my dear friends. So both are fine, sir. Both are exactly same. You can use this or you can use this. Actually, you know, you want to create this particular list. You can use this list command, but it becomes kind of redundant work. You can do this, even this kind of things. That is, you are creating this using list command. That becomes kind of redundant. So directly you can create it. It's a better way. It is direct way you can do it instead of doing this. Am I clear? Please note that. And you can have list with 3 elements. We already done this. Okay. And one more very interesting thing is you don't have to write all the elements in the same line. Okay. You can write it over multiple lines. No problem. There is no syntax error, my dear friends. You can write in multiple lines, but keep one element in the same line. Okay, don't write like when I say you can write it in multiple lines. Some people do this kind of thing. That is error because they want to write that number in 2 lines. That is not allowed. You can have different elements separated by commas in different lines. The elements or the objects which you use, they must be separated by comma. That is very, very important. Please note that. So don't do such kind of unnecessary experimentation. See, it can span over multiple lines, means one object, comma, next object. Next object you can write in the same line or in the separate line. But don't write a single object in 3-4 lines. Don't do that. Am I clear? Maybe for string, if it is in triple quotes, you can do that, but don't unnecessarily do such kind of unnecessary experimentation. See, obviously for programming, we always need to do the experimentation, but don't do over experimentation. It will trouble you only. Please be careful. This is fine, sir. No problem. You can do this. Am I clear? So here I can just print list to that name. Please be careful. Whatever name you are using, same name you have to use while printing or while using the list. Am I clear? So this is possible. And one more very interesting thing is, especially with the list, tuples and dictionary, the redundant comma after the last item can be there. You can have a redundant comma after the last item. See, if you don't write, there is nothing wrong. If you write also, there is nothing wrong. Both are one and the same. Okay, both are one and the same, my dear friends. Whether you do that way or this way, both are one and the same. There is no problem. Okay, so this is also very important. You can have a redundant comma after last item. Please note that. Now, as I told you, from a string, you can create a list. What? Using the list function. This kind of type conversion you can assume. Okay. So, using list function, you can convert a string to list. So, what is this list string, my dear friends? Suppose if you print, what happens? So, the character. So, you are going to get the character. B is a character. Actually, we cannot call them as characters, sir, because there is no character type in Python. They are like, strings of length 1. So, you are going to get list of 4 elements where each element is string of length 1, like that. So you can just check this. This is string of length 1, which is B, A, B, like that. Is it clear? You can check the length of the string, my dear friends. The length of the string is obviously how much? 4 is the length of the string. How many elements are there? That will be the length of the string. Clear? Now, as I told you earlier, As I told you earlier, for sequences, these are all the operations which are allowed. And out of this, these are the major operation. Indexing, slicing and extended slicing are very important, and length is common for all the sequences. That is, length will tell you how many elements are there. But this min and max, you have to be careful. Suppose you are having numbers, integers, floats, no problem, you can compare them. But if you are having integer and a string, how can you compare them? So if there is no comparability between them, this will give you an error. Please be careful. You can use them when you are having elements of same type. That need to be taken care. Am I clear? It works, but the elements must be of the same type. Please be careful. And all the elements. See, this works, all and any. So you are having heterogeneous type of elements or homogeneous type of elements in the list. If all the elements are true, then this all of that particular sequence, whatever sequence or the list you are using, that will return true. If any one of them is true, then it will return true, sir. You can just check this, sir. You can just experiment with this. Suppose I am having list, okay, say 23, 45.67. I give empty string, then I'll give you false, then I'll give you 1. Now look here, suppose if I say all li, so it checks whether all these fellows, all these objects are true or not. Here 23 non-negative, non-zero, so true. 45.67 non-zero, true, but it is empty string, false. Empty string is considered as false. A non-empty string is considered as true. So because of that, it will be false. And there is one more false. See, even if one fellow is false, this all li will be false. So it will be false. Suppose instead of this, if I keep a single or a single character in the string, then also it is false because of this. Now let me make it true. Now if all the objects are true, then it is true. If any one of them is false, for example, if I make it 0, then it will be false. Now what if I do any here? It checks if any one of those objects in the list is true or not, because there are many objects which are true. So any one is true. At least one is true, it will return true. So it is fine. Am I clear? So that is what it does. And you can do concatenation of the list, and you can also do repetition of the list. So the concatenation is very interesting, sir. Let me check this concatenation. So let me take list 1. Okay, so let me take the same list. Why to waste my energy? And let me take the list 2, some other list. So 34.56, 78.9, okay, or Babu. Okay. Now actually you can concatenate these two lists. No restriction here, you can concatenate. Though the elements are all combined in the same order. The ordered, so first list followed by the second list. In that order, the list will be concatenated. So 23, 45.67, S, true, 0. Suppose if I do reverse, Li2 plus Li1, they are concatenated in the same order. That is first this list, then that list. And here we can also make because lists are mutable, we try to understand when I talk about indexing operator, I'll explain this. See, lists are mutable, that is very interesting concept. Okay, you can actually Li1 you can change to Li1 plus Li2. You can change Li1 is equal to Li1 plus Li2 here. Okay, let us come back to this indexing operator. This is very important. Indexing is very, very important. So lists are indexed by integers, similar to that of strings. Only thing is, in the strings, what happens? You are having characters. Am I clear? And you can access those fellows using the indices. And you can have positive index and you can also have negative index, my dear friends. So the list index works the same way as string index. An integer value expression can also be used as index. You can also use an expression also as an index. The index can be positive or negative. Positive index, positive in the sense you can say non-negative is better word than positive, because it can start from 0 to something, and negative index starts from -1. Both are possible. And an index error appears if you try to access elements that does not exist in the list. If you try to access an element which is not in the list, index error will appear. Okay, you can just check that here. For example, how many elements are there? 0, 1, 2, 3 elements are there. So you can access the elements with indices, sir. 0 means the 0 element, that is 20. What is it? Oh, Li means I am using a different list. List 1. So list 1, what is at 0 index? 12. What is at first index? 34.56. What is at second index? That is hello string. What is at third index? That is true. Am I clear? And you can also do it the negative indexing. What is at the -1 index? That is true. That is, here we can start with negative indexing, -1, -2, -3. What is at -2 index? What is at -2 index? That is hello. -3 index. And you can also try -4 plus 5. You can also have an expression here, sir. So -4 plus 5 is 1. So what is at first index? 34.56. Here you can also have an expression that should result in an integer value. That is the only condition, my dear friends. And if you write something like, -5, so you get the index error because list index out of the range. Or if you write 4, that is also out of range because we are having 0 to 3 only. Am I clear? So what I want you to see here is the following. Now look at this same list. Let us take the list 1. So we are having 12, 34.56, 12, 34.56, hello, and true. So here what actually happens is this list 1 object reference to that list, that is collection of the objects. Am I clear? Now here this 0, here we will not have 12, sir. This 0 will contain the ID or address of this object 12. Then this 1 will contain address of this 34.56. Then this 2 will contain address, means contain in the sense, don't take it like in C sensor. It is contain the reference of this string hello. Reference of this string hello. Actually, you can also see this like, list of list. We will discuss towards the end of this list. I'll try to explain that. Then this 3 will contain the reference to the true. So this is actually what going to happen, my dear friends. So list 1. List 1 is referencing to, list 0 is referencing to this 12. List 1 is referencing to this 34.56. So here we are having reference of this particular object. Here we have reference of this particular object. Here we have reference of this particular object. And here we have reference of this particular object. Okay. And in this, suppose if I say, actually I said the elements are mutable. Mutable means here I can change this. Here I can change the reference because variables can change their references. Objects cannot change. Okay, objects, they are all numbers and strings. They cannot change. But here this reference, which is a variable, can change the reference. See, for example, list 1. One second. List 1, and at 1 index, instead of this 34.56, I want say some other number. I can have an integer, I can have a float, or I can have a string or a different object. I can do that. For example, I say 47. So what happens here, this whatever ID is there, that ID changes. That is, this reference is gone and now it refers to object 47. That is what happens. So this value can be changed. The reference can be changed. Because of that, lists are mutable. Lists are mutable. But in string, suppose you are having a string. Okay, say hello or Babu, let us say. Here, what happens? You cannot change this because that is the object here itself. The object is there. You cannot change it. It is immutable. You cannot change this. Is that clear? Please note that difference, my dear friends. Please note that difference, my dear friends. Is that clear? Good. So you cannot access the elements out of the range. So within the range, you have to access the elements, my dear friends. So this is about, forward indexing you can use, and backward indexing also you can use. Okay. With forward indexing, you can change the elements. With backward indexing also, you can change the elements. So let us experiment with this list one. Okay. You can access the elements with backward indexing also. List 1 -3. That can be accessed, and you are going to get 34.56. And here I can change it to 46. Okay. Now if I do list 1, what happens? Here you are going to get this. So what I do is, first let me do the ID of list 1, the object or 1, first index object. Okay. So let me do this. Here the first index object, this fellow's ID I am taking, which is 34.56 is there, no, that I am taking. Then what I do? List 1, then in the first index, I'll write some new number, say 47. Am I clear? Now what about ID of list 1, 1? So this is changed. Okay, you can just print this and check. That changed. What happened to this? So here what is happening? List 1, did I use same object? Because the problem here is, because earlier we changed something, let me do this first, then come back to this. See, the problem is earlier we changed it to 47, again I am doing 47, that's why I am getting same addresses. So you have to be careful, you have to go back, because this one is already executed. Then without, earlier I executed, I changed that ID 1, list 1 first object or value at the first index, I changed it to 47, I removed, again I am doing it, that's why both are showing same address. So initially what is happening, sir? It is referring to that 34 points, whatever it is there, that is referring to this particular, object, which is at address 6480. Now when you change it, it is referring to a new object which is at this particular memory address, like 8296. That is what exactly happened. Is that clear? Is the idea clear, sir? Please note this. This is very, very important with mutable objects. So here you can change the value. Mutable means you can change this particular value here. Whereas in immutable, you cannot change it. Only thing is this particular reference will change. This particular reference will change. Even here references can change, but see, when it is immutable, this cannot be changed, whereas this reference can change. When it is mutable, this can change, even this reference also can change. That is the main difference between immutable and mutable objects. Please note that point, my dear friends. Clear? You can experiment with this, my dear friends, like that. Now comes lists are mutable. So this experiment I already done. You see this is the list. So here I am just taken this particular list and I am printing all the IDs. That is original list ID, I am printing it. Then I change it. This is the idea. Lists are mutable means the elements can be changed. That is objects, references can be changed. Actually there you will have reference to the objects. In the list actually you will not have the elements. You have references to the objects. Because we are having references, the references can be changed. That is exactly what happened in the list. Is that clear? So that is exactly, I changed this 34.56 to some 34. You see that? See the list 1, the reference is not changed. I just changed this particular element. Remaining all elements address will remain same. That is list 0. That is the element at 0 index address is not changed. Okay. the element at second index is not changed, the element at third index is not changed, but element at first index is changed. See, this one changed because originally it is 34.56. It is referring to the object 34.56, that is address of that it referring to. Now it is referring to object 34, so the address changes, my dear friend, the address changes. So lists are mutable, lists are mutable. Of course, we have some very beautiful functions like insert, append, pop. There are many good functions which can be used for implementing the other data structure using list. These are mutable ordered collection of heterogeneous, that is arbitrary elements, and duplicates are allowed in the list. So please remember these 4 points for the list: mutable, ordered collection of heterogeneous or arbitrary elements in which duplicates are allowed. Please note these 4 points for the list, my dear friends. And you can see this, I can change this. See, li3 id. So in the list you can add the elements. Here I am adding the element, here I am adding the elements, and you can also delete the element. Here you see this list is there, and you see id of li3 I am finding. li3 means this fellow's id, that is string high's id. So what I am doing here, okay, sorry, it is not the code cell. Let me take the code cell. I am deleting this li3. So what is happening, sir? This li3 is deleted. So what is the list here? Now, because index error, this can be done now. Why? Acha, it is. Let me check this. Yeah. See what happens when you repeat some operations, because I verified that earlier, so that it remembers. So you have to redo it carefully. So I run this. Now I run this. Okay. Now I print the list. No problem. Am I clear? Oh, again the same problem is happening. Let me just check this. See, because it remembers the previous things, na? So you have to go in the order. Okay, suppose you change it here and you not change it the previous iteration, it will remember that. Okay, please be careful. So I removed it. Now what is this li? That last element is removed. Okay, now what I do is I'll repeat this. Now look at this interesting part. Instead of deleting the third index, I delete the second index. I delete this second index. Oh my god, this is code cell. I delete this second index. So now I want to see what is id, because when you delete the second index, this high becomes the second index now. See, when I do this, after this, if I do li, what is it? This high becomes second index, and originally this high's address is this. Now let me check the address of this high, that is id of li at second index, because high now, that is the object, the string high, now change it to the second index. It remains the same. You can see this. Only thing is this reference is changed to the second position. Instead of in the third index, it is now changed to the second index. That is because you removed an element in between. Okay, so it moves. Am I clear? This reference moved to the left. That is what exactly happened. Is that clear? Very good. Now let us move on to the slicing. See, slicing is exactly same for strings, for list, or for tuples. The story is same: slicing, start and end. So you are going to get the substring from start to end minus 1. You can also go from you can also use the negative indices, my dear friends. You can also use the negative indices here. Okay, so let us experiment with slicing, sir. Let us take slicing. Means what, sir? It retrieves part of the string. That is, it is going to give you a part of the string. You can use slicing operator or extended slicing operator, where we have these steps. Am I clear? But only difference between strings and here is, in strings we have a single characters, okay, but here we are having objects. We are having objects that need to be taken care. Is that clear? Yeah. So let us do this. Let me take a string 12, 34.56, 78, 99. You want, you can also have a string set. Hi. This is your string. So is equal to, right? Now here I can go from index 3 to index 5. 3 to 5. So it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We are having only indices up to 4. See here in the slicing, the end index you can also have 500. There is no problem. Or 5000. There is no problem. Automatically till the end all the characters are printed. Or all the objects are printed. Here not characters. Here we are having objects. All the objects are printed. So you are going to get, that is third index means what, 99, and this is printed. Is that clear? Now if you take 0 to 500 also, that entire list is printed. Am I clear? Or if you want from 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, 1 to 4 minus 1, that is 1, 2, and that is the objects at index 1, object index 2, and object at index 3. Object at, what I mean, the reference we are talking about. Please note that. So they are listed here. Is that clear? Of course, this can be assigned to some other list, my dear friends. See what all we done for strings, all those slicing manipulations can be done here. For example, you can have this. You are going to get the entire string, my dear friends. You are going to get the entire string. Is that clear? Now we can also have step. You can also have step. So what happens? 12 is printed, this is skipped, 78 is printed, this is skipped, and high is printed. Am I clear? In steps 2, that is every second fellow is printed, or every second fellow is taken. Okay, in that particular sub list. Here it is called sub list. Okay, that is the idea, my dear friends. You can also have in the steps of 3. Then what happens? 12. Next from 12 you have to move 1, 2, 3. That is taken. 1, 2, but that is not available, so it's skipped. Only this and this are taken. Only 12 and 99 are taken. Let us check that. 12 and 99 are taken. And one more very interesting thing which we done earlier. Let me do that. That is li with -1. When you do -1, you are going to get the reverse of the string, and it is one of the important operation. How to get the reverse. Am I clear? And of course you also try this. You know, you can also have, like, you know, -4 to -1. This also can be printed, sir. -4 to -1. This is -4 because length of the string is length of the list is 5 actually. Length of the list is 5. So -4 is this. -4, -3, -2, and because -1 means 1 less than that. That is -2. Only these 3 are printed or retrieved, we can say. Okay. So it only retrieve that particular sub list. It only retrieve that particular sub list. That is the idea. Is that clear? You can experiment with this, my dear friends. But -1 to -5, if I do it, it will not give you any string, because -1 to -5 you cannot move it. But if you want to move, you can use negative indices here, my dear friends. You can use, you know, minus steps. Suppose if you do minus steps, you are going to get the reverse list, my dear friends. The list is reversed, and in the steps of 2 also you can do it. In the steps high 1 to 50, that is 34.56 is printed. Sorry. In steps of 2, na, only 2 means only 1, 2, 78. 1, 2. Okay, because it is -5, 1 less than that, only we can go up to here. That is not taken. Suppose instead of taking this, if you done -6, even 12 will be you know, retrieved. Okay, it will access that particular 12 object also. That is about, you know, slicing operator, my dear friends. See, if you understand slicing for string, it is exactly the same. You don't have to you know, put extra effort for this. Am I clear? Please note that. Same story will happen. So whatever slice you are going to take, okay, you can understand here. Suppose your slice is from say 2 to 5. So what is taken, sir? Only these three objects. This is the sublist you are going to get, 2 to 5. Okay. So with this diagram, you can understand it much better, my dear friends. With this, indexing diagram, you can call it, okay, where you have forward indexing and backward indexing. So whatever slice he asks, just try to look at that and try to get the elements. With this slicing or with this indexings, you can easily understand whatever slice he asks, you can easily get that particular output. Am I clear? You are going to get a sub list here. That is it. Hope you understand. And you can also have nested list, my dear friends. Don't worry, we already done this nested list. See, in the list, if there is a string object, that is nested list only. Actually, in the list, we are having a string. Am I clear? Nested list means in the list, if you have a list, that is very interesting. Okay. If you have a string inside a list, that is an immutable object inside a mutable object, where immutable object is collection of characters. That is the idea. Am I clear? Now look at this, sir. When a list appears, one minute. When a list appears as an element of another list, it is called nested list. So, when there is a string inside a list, it's a variant of that. You cannot call it as nested list there, but it's a kind of the same story. I'll show you what is that particular idea. I'll just show you. Don't worry. Now look at this. We are having list 1 in which the objects are 10, 23.45, hello. See, this is hello is a string, and we are having another list. And you can have this trailing comma, no problem. Okay. Towards the end, you can keep the comma or you can remove it, no problem, my dear friends. Now, how to access the elements? See, this can be accessed like list. So let me run this. So how can I access this first fellow? List 0 I can access and I can get it, sir. I can get it. If I say list 1, I get 23.45. If I do list 2, I get this. List 2 means what, sir? Oh, why it is saying list 2? Let me print it. What mistakes we done? Oh, the name is different, nah? So please be careful. Okay, list 1, the name is list 1, I written list there. Okay, it is saying sorry. See here, when you see list 2, you are getting the entire string. Similarly, when you do list 3, you get this entire list, but within the list, I want this 0 element. How to get it? So within the list, that is at third index, 0th element you want. Then you are going to get the element 6, my dear friends. So you have to use this double subscript to access the elements which are inside a list. Okay. So within a list, if you are having another list, if you want to access the objects of that nested list, you have to use double subscript. Suppose there is one more list inside that, you have to use triple subscript. If you have one more list inside that, you have to use 4 subscripts. So that can be extended to any level, my dear friend. Logical idea is that. See, using list 1 3, I can access this object. Here the object is a list. And how to access the, see this is the object. This is the object. How to access the elements within that object? Using the indices. So you can access this with 0 index. This is list 3 is this entire fellow. List 3 is this entire fellow. So let me just show you what happens actually. 4 elements, correct? 10, 23.45. First one is 10. Next one is 23.45. Next one is hello. The next one is a list. I think what are the elements? 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. It is like this. 6 is here, 7 is here, and 8 is here. Am I covering it? Let me just rewrite this. So here it is having reference to a list, reference to an object which is a list, which is having reference to this 6, 7, 8. Okay, I always forget this. So how to access this? You can access this as, suppose the name of this is list 1. So how can you access this entire list 1? And in that, what is the object at third index? This list. So this entire list you are going to get. This entire list you are going to get. Now in this, if you want to access this element, how to access? This is 0, 1, 2 index. With 0 index you can access. If you want to access this element, how to access? With 1 index you can access. If you want to access this element, how to access? With 2 index you can access. The same logic, my dear friends. If you understand it, the remaining story is very simple. That is exactly what happens here. That is the logic here. Nothing more than that. Am I clear? So here I just given few examples here. For list 2. List 2 means this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. See, even for this, it is a string. How can you access the elements of a string? With indexing. So this one, even here, it is like, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you want to access H, list 1, 2, 0. If you want to access E, list 1, 2, 1. If you want to access 1, so that is how we can access those elements also, my dear friends. So what is the output here? Can you tell me what is the output here? Can you tell me what is the output here in the list 2? Fourth index, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, O you are going to get. So that is fourth index means you are going to get that O here. And what about this? What about this? List 1, 3, that is third index, you are having this object. In that you want the object at second index, which is 8. You are going to get 8. So let us run this and see the output. Of course, I not printed, so that's why. So if you remove it, you can see that output also. You get O output. Let me put this. Then this is giving 8 output. Because it is in the interpreter mode, only the last fellow's output you are going to get it. If you want to get both outputs, use print function. That's it. So if at all you are having nested list, how to access them? You have to use double subscript. If it is, see, it depends on how much nesting level you are having. Suppose the nesting is up to 2 levels, you have to use double subscript. Nesting is up to 3 levels, you have to use triple subscript. And nesting is up to 4 levels, you have to use 4 subscript. That is the story, my dear friends. You can try that. Am I clear? You can try that. Clear? So that is about list. Actually for tuple, the story whatever we discuss is exactly same for tuple. And one more thing, sir, here I am just giving you overview of all these, built-in data types. Of course, you can call them as data structures also. Separately, we discuss about, again, strings, list, tuple, separately we discuss. Because here for understanding the control structures, this idea is very important. Even for understanding operations, the operators, these ideas of all the data structures, because they are all built in Python language. So I am just giving overview of all the data types so that the operators which can be performed on this data structures, you can call them as data types. Okay, we can understand it better. Once you complete it, then you can go to the next level. But for your gate point of view, if you understand the basic level and some basic built-in functions or basic functions which can be applied on this built-in data types, it would be sufficient, my dear friends. Am I clear? But if you want to do more on Python, then you need to discuss all these data structures in detail. See, in Python, mainly for every data type or data structures, we have some built-in operations. Then we have this methods which can be used with those data types. Am I clear? So that is part 2. We discuss that separately. Clear? Yeah. Now let us talk about tuple. A tuple, see, entire story is exactly same. Only difference is it is immutable. Okay. Instead of making it mutable, if you make it immutable, it becomes tuple. So a tuple is an immutable ordered sequence of arbitrary object where duplicates are allowed. So here ordered, you can access the elements by index. Then arbitrary collection, we have collection of different heterogeneous type of elements. Duplicates are allowed, but they are immutable. So generally they call it as, read only copy, only read only. Tuple is like, read only list, they call it. Okay, you can only read the elements, but you cannot change it. For example, with list at third index, I can change the element with that. Okay, indexing formula, I can change the element, but here the changing is not allowed. You cannot delete the elements. You cannot have that insert pop operations here. Okay, immutable, you cannot change the object. Okay, you cannot change the object here. That is the idea here. So lists, oh sorry, I forgot to change this. Sometimes it happens. We are talking about tuple. It's called copy paste errors. Tuple is ordered, heterogeneous elements are allowed, tuples are immutable, and duplicates are allowed in tuple. That is the story. So these are all copy paste errors, my dear friends, please be note. And here elements of tuple are enclosed. See, elements of list are enclosed in square brackets. Here elements of tuple are enclosed in parentheses, rounded brackets, and are separated by commas. Okay, so this is very important, sir. Suppose you are having tuple 1, so they are enclosed in round brackets, parentheses we call them. You can have different types, sir. You can have different types of objects here. And how can you access them, sir? You can just access them with index formulas. Am I clear? You can access them with index formula. What is it? Oh, TU, somewhere I changed it as, that is the problem. I am also getting surprised. Where is this 3 index? 0, 1, 2, 3, Bobo I should get. Why I am getting 78.5? Okay, I just written somewhere TU I would have run, so that it is showing. Please be careful. You should always run in the order, sir. Okay, the cells, the code cells, you please try to run once again in the order. Am I clear? Yeah. Because sometimes I'll be experimenting while creating the notes. So the previous stories it is remembering and it is giving some arbitrary values. Don't worry about it. Right? Like that. Bob. That is it. You can access the elements with indices. Clear? Please note that. And one very interesting thing with the tuple is, suppose I want to create a tuple with single element. So you assume that it is a tuple. And we have a beautiful function called type function, which tells you the type of this particular object. So what type of object is this? What type of object is this? It is integer type. See, whenever it is a single number, maybe suppose if you do 34.45, it is float. See, whenever it is a single element, okay, don't just keep that number there. You have to keep, okay, a comma after this. Then it will be considered, then it will be considered as a tuple cell. Single element, if you write it, it is considered as an integer or float, whatever it is. Please be careful. Am I clear? Please be careful. Am I clear? This is the idea. Single element, whenever you are having, this trailing comma is compulsory to make it a tuple. If tuple is having single element, this trailing comma is compulsory. Am I clear? What about tuple 3, empty tuple? Empty tuple is fine, but single element, it should be, having a trailing comma. That is very important. Otherwise, it is considered as a integer or float, whatever number you are going to give there. Please be careful. And, one more very interesting thing with the tuple, sir. One more very interesting. A sequence without parenthesis is treated as tuple by default. See, without keeping that, a parenthesis, I just given to a object, I assigned 3 values. See, for 3 objects, 3 values are assigned. Okay, then what happens? These 3 variables becomes reference to those objects. But for a single variable, if you assign 3 objects, for a single variable, if you assign a 3 objects, so automatically this is converted as a tuple. So sequence without parenthesis is treated as tuple by default. So automatically this will be converted to a tuple, sir. You can just check this type of this sequence. This is tuple. Okay, and actually if you print it, you can see it becomes tuple with the elements 12, 34, hello. Please note this point. Okay, so these are all some syntactical things which we need to know. Am I clear? It's not logical, it's a syntactical. See, whenever you are learning a programming language, you need to understand the syntax and the semantics. See, logic is, you know, what output you can get. Okay, that you can do like kind of, you know, of course it is related to syntax, but logically what output you want, you can use the syntax to get that particular logic working. Am I clear? Whereas syntax you should understand properly. Clear? Like that. Now one more thing, from a string, see, we also done this for, you know, list also. It's kind of typecasting. If you are having a string using tuple function, I can convert it to tuple. So what happens, automatically this tuple 1 is converted to tuple, where each object is a string of length 1. That is string of length 1h, string of length 1e, like that. This is what happens. And all these operators like indexing, slicing and extended slicing operators can be applied on tuple also. Length also can be found for a tuple. For example, you can find length of this tuple. I can find length of this tuple. What is the length of this tuple? 5. And min and max, please note, min and max generally, if you are having elements of same type. If you are having elements of same type, then you can find minimum of that. But if you are having a number and string, how can you compare them, sir? So that will be throwing an error. So if you want, you can just check that. For example, here you can find, for example, here I can find min and max. Because HELLO, what is the minimum letter, that is, or the letter having minimum ASCII value or minimum Unicode value, and what is the letter having maximum Unicode value, that is easily identified because all are of same type. But suppose I am having a list or a tuple. For example, let us say I have a tuple where the elements are, say, 23, 45.6 and Babu. And here if I say min and max, it is an error because this less than is not supported, because you are comparing them with less than operator. That less than operator is not supported. So please be careful, sir. So min and max, if they are all of same type, you can use it. So this all, we use this for, you know, a list also. All, if all the objects inside the tuple are true type. See, integer true when it is a non-zero value. Float is true when it is non-zero floating number. String is true when it is non-empty string. Boolean is true when it is true. Am I clear? So that is it. When all are true, this will give you, this will return true value. If any one is true, then it will return true value. And concatenation of two tuples is possible, my dear friend. You can concatenate. But what happens? The two tuples are concatenated, you are going to get a new tuple. That is, a new object is created, my dear friends. Repetition of tuples, exactly same. All these operations are exactly same. But what we need to work more on, my dear friends, the slicing operator. The indexing and slicing are very important. And for that, I am not going to do any extra work, sir, because if you understand slicing of strings, same story for this also. No difference, my dear friends. Okay. See, let us do this concatenation of tuples, sir. Tuple 1, 23, 45.67. Babu. Then you have tuple 2 is equal to, then what happens? 30. Let us say hello. See, any numbers you can say true. You can take a bool value. You can take another list also. You can take, no problem. Within the tuple you can have a list. No problem. So now you can concatenate these two fellows. Tuple 1 plus tuple 2. Concatenation happens. And you can do tuple 1 into 4. So what happens? This, you know, this tuple you are going to get with all these 4 objects repeated 4 times. So you see that the same tuple or objects are repeated 4 times. That is about, you know, concatenation operation and repeat operation. See, for all the sequences, common operations, length you can find, min and max you can find when all the objects are of same type. Different types, you know, the comparison must be allowed between them, then only that can be done. Okay, then we have all. If all the objects are true, then it returns true. If any one object is true, then any value will return true. Then we have concatenation, then we have this repeat operation. Now comes the indexing operator. What is very important? The indexing operators. Same story for tuple also, we can access the elements by index. There is no difference here, but only difference between list and tuple is it is immutable. Tuple is immutable. Tuple is the read-only version of list. The elements of tuple cannot be changed after creation. For example, suppose I am having tuple 1, which is equal to, or let me take tuple 1, because already so many times I used na. So let me take the same tuple 1. So that is your tuple 1. Now I want to change the tuple 1 at second index to Babu is there now. I want to change it to hello Babu. But that is an error because you cannot change it. It is immutable. Tuple is immutable, whereas list, this is possible. With tuple it is not possible. Tuple object does not support item assignment. List object support item assignment, but tuple does not assign or support item assignment. Type error you are going to get, because for this particular type the assignment is not defined. Because of that you get type error. Please note that. Slicing, exactly the same story, my dear friends. You can take any big object, slice. Same story. Okay, so let us take some object. Say here I need total 6 elements. So let me take 6 elements. Some tuple object. I'll just take numbers for simplicity, sir. You can have any other one also, sir. Within tuple you can have a tuple, you can have a list. Similarly, within list you can have a tuple. Anything is possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, again 56, 39, 45. 3, 3, 6 elements are there. Now here, see, you can use 0 to 5 index or -1 to -6, because length of this tuple object is what? What is the length of this tuple object? What is the length of this tuple object? It is 6. So if you use actually tuple object -6, see, minus length is the first object. You are going to get first object. Am I clear? And -1 means the last object. Same indexing, slicing, exactly same, sir. So total 0 to 6 are there. You can start from 0 to 6, except last one. All other objects are retrieved. Okay, so you're going to get the sub tuple. You're going to get the sub tuple of the given tuple. Okay, with the provided indices. That's it. See, slice means part, piece, or sub tuple. If it is a string, sub string. If it is a list, sub list. If it is a tuple, sub list. That's it. Sub or a part of that particular object. That's it. You can try different fellows, sir. Okay. See, if you understand this slicing for one of the sequence like string, you can easily understand there is no difference at all. And this is very important, never forget. It is going to give you the tuple in the reverse direction. The reverse order. How simple it is. Okay. Suppose if you assign to new fellow, what happens? You are going to get the tuple, reverse tuple. Got it? Very simple operation. So please try this, slicing. Okay. Tomorrow mostly what I do is I'll come up with the questions on this list and tuples. Then there are simple, types like, bytes, byte array and range that we'll discuss, and separately one day we'll have this, dictionary and set. Frozen set also can be discussed. That together we discuss one more day. And tomorrow 7 p.m. Sudhakar sir's class, then my class is at 9 p.m. Okay, that is the story. Nested tuple, tuple inside another tuple we can have. Tuple inside another tuple. We can also have list inside tuple also, that is possible, sir. Okay, so let me call it as nested tuple. 23, 45, 67. Then inside that I want a tuple 23. Can I have same fellow? Very interesting, right? You can check the IDs. What happens, that would be very interesting. Am I clear? So within the tuple, I again have 23, 40, 45, 67. So this is my tuple. How can I access? Nested tuple 0. That will give me 23. Okay. Then 1 means that will give me 45. 2 means that will give me 67. 3 means that entire tuple I am going to get. That is 23, 45. And if I want to get this 23 within this at 0, that is, this is nest tuple 3 means this is entirely this particular tuple object. You are referring to this particular tuple object. Inside that there are 3 objects. If you want to refer any of them, you have to use again the indices 0, 1, 2, 3. You can use negative index also. Let us try negative index. Why only positive index? Let us use minus index. That is possible because 67 you are going to get. Length of this is 3, so you can use minus 3 to get the first object. See, within that you can use again negative index, same story. Indexing, slicing, same story you can do, sir. No problem. Okay, it works. It has to work logically. Syntactically, see, with programming language, certain things are very logical. See, in mathematics, suppose if I do mathematics, I say it works, but sometimes in programming there may be some, at operating system level there may be some problem, or at syntax level there may be some issues. We need to take care of them. Am I clear? But generally, logically, it should happen. That is what I'm mentioning, right? It works because that slicing is defined. Here also it is different. Okay, now my interest is here. I just want to take this example. It is very interesting. Maybe here. Okay. I just taken this. So here what is happening, sir? 0 is 23. This is actually nested tuple. I just call it as nested tuple. And 1 is 45. 2 is 67. Then, okay, I think only 4 objects. Sorry, this is not there. Only 4 objects. Sorry for that. Here, this 3 means it is again this particular one. Okay, 3 objects only. That is 23 here. Now the question is whether this 23 refer to the same thing or different one. So let us check this. Okay, let us check whether these two will refer to the same fellow or different fellow. Let us check. That is ID of nested tuple 0, and this is ID of nested tuple, because in 3 it is 0. Are they same or not? Let us check it. Actually 23, 45, 67 they should work, because up to 256, 0 to 256 range only the objects are by default created. I change the number and check. That also we do. Okay, let us check that. So I just want to check the ID of this nested tuple 0. Let me print both of them together so that we can check. Nested tuple 30. So both are one and the same, but what I do is I change it as say 2000. Let me change it as 2000. In that case, what happens? Even in that case, they are referring to the same object. Okay, they are referring to the same object. See, generally that is what when it is that particular object is there. Once it is created, Python will check for that particular object already available or not. If it is available, so it gives reference to that particular object which is already present. Am I clear? So this is very interesting actually. It is giving same reference. Is that clear? Clear or not? Yeah. But generally, if I give A is equal to 2000, B is equal to 2000, it may not happen, but here it is happening. Within that nested tuple also it is happening. That is very interesting. So this is about your tuple inside another tuple, my dear friends. So we discussed about, we completed strings, then we completed list, then we also completed tuples, right? So we have three more, that is range, bytes, and byte array. Byte array. Okay, so these three, because they are very simple things, we'll just do that in the next class, that is tomorrow at 9 p.m. Together with problems on review problems on list and tuple. As we done review of strings today, tomorrow we do review problems on list and tuple, then we start with the other three. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you, sir. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Thank you, Mr. Kedar Rudravaram. Anyone else having doubt can ask me, sir. That's all for today. Thank you.